Would you read a book titled See, Breathe, Move 10 Tools to Optimize Performance and Increase Happiness Fast? There is some evidence that this book, with exactly this title, is due to be published somewhere in 2025, and the name of its author is probably rather familiar to you. It's Andrew Huberman. I am a huge admirer of free or easy access to information. Before the internet, I used to cherish all of the books that I could grab. They were the sources of knowledge about the world for me, and I, being a very curious human being, was really craving for more books. But then, when the fast internet happened, the sacred role of books and libraries started to diminish, although it still exists, albeit not to the same degree. The internet, with its endless volume of information, became quite similar to the famous bogus Library of Babel, if you remember it, a library containing books with all possible ordering of letters, among which there are, of course, the books we all know about, but containing enormous number of typos and countless differences, and an overwhelming majority, the books containing just incomprehensible pile of characters that are totally useless. But let's get back to Andrew Huberman, an American neuroscientist, a Stanford associate professor, who has his own podcast dedicated to the science of human behavior and many other adjoining topics. Huberman is definitely on the same page with me on the topic of information access. In the beginning of each of his videos, he says that they are part of his desire and efforts to bring zero cost to consumer information about science and science-related tools to the general public. Very commendable. And Huberman definitely lives to his talk with the hundreds of videos dedicated to different practical aspects of scientific knowledge. I watch them from time to time, and while some of the videos are definitely more interesting for me than others, I admire his diligence, his professionalism, and the manner in which Huberman presents information. However, and I may be old-fashioned, this is just who I am, but I still see videos as a learning tool which is inferior to the written word. Yes, I prefer books, and while I can admit this is partly subjective, I'm ready to provide you with several big arguments supporting the claim that to obtain important, clear and concise information, knowledge, that will be your basis for learning and professional or self-growth, a book still can't be replaced even by a huge YouTube archive. Well, first, and this is subjective, a book is something that is tangible. It is a knowledge manifest, and when you hold it in your hands, you can feel that this is not just a work in progress or just a small portion of a shared idea. This is a completed work with sufficient amounts of evidence for each of the presented arguments. Well, hopefully. But that's a feeling, and it can be individually mine. What's a fact is that you remember better when you see and read than what you hear. Visual memory just works better. Plus, when you have a book, you can easily revise, highlight, make notes in the margins, and use what's written there as a reference. Overall, a book is just a better medium for learning and memorizing new information. And speaking about references, It's not customary to put a big list of references and reading materials in the notes under your video, even if it is about science. So it is much easier to make false or misleading claims in the video. The book tends to be more demanding, and it is expected that the author, when citing certain facts, experiments, evidence, provides corresponding references. Again, it makes the book a superior learning tool. Books just are better for learning and for becoming smarter eventually than videos, which are geared more towards entertainment purposes. It's just how these mediums work. I'm not even starting on that you can gift a book and also you can place it on a shelf to showcase how intelligent and naturally curious you are, which is very important. Oh, and never mind my shelf. It's very small because I'm only temporarily renting this. Never mind. Now back to Huberman. The only trace of his upcoming book used to be a slightly weird page that could be found on the German Amazon website, but if you Google the title, well, right now, at least in February 2024, you can find traces of this book at some other websites, including a big UK bookstore named Blackwell's, and it's the same title with release somewhere in 2025. But still, the title is so encompassing, is so know-it-all that I would seriously doubt that this was the book, unless actually Huberman himself told Chris Williamson in his recent podcast that he actually was writing a book and was going to finish it somewhere in the end of 2024. In the interview, Huberman has said that the book is going to be purely practical and is going to contain mainly protocols for better living, better doing stuff, better feeling yourself, and so on and so on. The concept, which is probably rather familiar to you if you've been watching his videos, which sounds very good. From my point of view, the book is going to be targeted for a wider audience, which is probably why the work title of the book sounds so cliche and know-it-all, which is fine for this type of book and probably is still going to be changed. Anyways, I'm definitely buying it, even acknowledging that it will scarcely contain any information that isn't possible to find in Huberman's videos. As we discussed, videos are quite inconvenient as learning tools, so good luck finding that exact protocol that you were thinking of in the library of thousands of videos, or maybe hundreds of videos. The book, on the other hand, contains pages that are easily turnable when you are looking for something, and it's very easy to find what you were looking for. And also, of course, it contains a list of references. Well, it will probably contain a list of references, I hope. And I will be able to make a review of the book as well, and maybe after that even to gift it to someone. While we are waiting, Huberman said that he was going to probably finish the book itself in 2024, which, judging by the pace the publishers tend to edit and publish the text, is going to be released probably no sooner than the middle of 2025, so we still have plenty of time. There are some non-fiction and science-related reads that I would gladly recommend, but this is a topic for another video. Read better, gather intelligence, make good decisions.